Hey, what's going on, fam? It's the Don here from Pegi and Don. In the last video, I let you guys know that Peggy and I are planning on expanding our pantry. Y'all know we have a much smaller space than we had in the past, and so we're having to get a little bit creative. So in the last video, I told you guys that we decided to expand our pantry into a very little used coat closet by the front door. So that's why I'm here at Home Depot, one of my favorite places to get materials and everything to try to come up with some sort of makeshift pantry. Now, this video is not about trying to show you guys how to install a pantry into a coat closet or anything like that, because I am not a carpenter. I am not a DIY expert. I'm just going to take you guys along and show you what I've done, what I do, and maybe we can figure out a way to maybe I can figure out a way to do it better in the next time or in the future. But what I really want to discuss is some of the comments that I received from the last video, some of the ideas and suggestions that I had. And so a lot of people want to know how they can expand their pantry and what kind of things should they be thinking about when they decide to expand their pantry into another space that's not designed for a pantry. Now, a lot of people have some fantastic kitchens with huge pantries, and maybe for them, there's enough space in those pantries to hold everything they need for emergencies. But a lot of us are not in that situation. So what I want to talk about is how important it is to put some thought into choosing where you're going to expand your pantry. The idea may seem that as long as you got space for it, that would be a good space for a pantry. And of course, obviously you need space, but there are enemies of your pantry that you need to consider when you're deciding where you want to put your emergency foods. So I'm going to talk about 4 enemies of your emergency pantry. Now, the very first one is moisture. Especially if you're storing a lot of food in like cardboard boxes and stuff like that, moisture can soak into the cardboard or even the labels and create mold and fungus attract mold and fungus after a period of time. So you want to try to do what you can to control the moisture. I have found that it has been effective enough for me to use these little $1 moisture absorbers that I get from the Dollar Tree. Now, they're not easy to find all the time. They have 2 different varieties. There's one with the black lid and one with the blue lid. When I go in there, I'm looking for the one with the black lids because they have some charcoal in there, which also helps to absorb odors. That's not necessarily pantry relevant, but if you're gonna have stuff in a small space, I like to try to keep the odors down to a minimum. A lot of times, some people choose garages as their space for emergency pantry, and then when they go out and visit stuff, they see that moisture has seeped in, because garages can get very, very hot and moist, and a lot of the food is damaged and lost. So that's something that, one of the first things you should consider is how much moisture will my pantry be exposed to. Another thing that you obviously have to be concerned about is pests. Food attracts pests. You can do a lot of stuff to try to keep the pests out. Now, I showed y'all last week on the last video that we've been using these Wal-Mart buckets, these old frosting buckets that we repurpose as a food storage solution. They seal pretty well, and we've been able to use and protect flour, rice, and sugar for over a year and a half. So that's an option. Another option, of course, is the Mylar bags, or in a combination of them. You can use 5-gallon buckets and Mylar bags to store your food and to get a good seal on it. And that will be one of the good ways of keeping your pests out. You should also look at pest control options too, like maybe pests will get into your pantry area. You want to be able to prevent them from doing any damage. I'm not trying to advocate for the killing of any of God's creatures, but you want to make sure you keep them out. So whatever kind of pest control solutions that you feel comfortable with, you want to make sure you employ those to keep the pests away from your pantry. A lot of people decide to do their emergency pantry under their bed. Obviously, if that's your only option, you want to go with that, and you want to make sure that you try to prevent pests from getting to your foods. Now, here's one that a lot of people don't think about, and that is traffic. So when I discussed in the last video that we've been keeping our flour, rice, and sugar in these food safe containers, Someone commented that they've been able to keep their flour and stuff like that in Ziploc bags, large Ziploc bags, for like 5 years, and they have had no problems. That is great. That is great. But Ziploc bags, for the most part, are clear, so they let in a lot of light, which allows things to grow inside your food. So she might be in a very, very dark pantry. Also, Ziploc bags are not as tough as my food safe containers. Any kind of traffic, like imagine reaching for a canned good and pulling it off or the shelf or a box and cutting a scratch into your Ziploc bag or a cut or whatever else it is. And that whole situation is ruined. Now, if a Ziploc bag is your way of going, by all means, please feel free to do this. We just bring you our journey, but I am not going to go towards even a freezer safe or a tough skin Ziploc bag. I'd rather stick with my opaque food safe containers. I think it's important enough and cheap enough to where that will be effective for us, and that's the solution that Peggy and I have chosen to go with. The final enemy of the emergency pantry that I want to discuss is temperature change. We discussed the garage as being an option for a lot of people. The garage is very, very difficult to control your temperature. Most ACs, most home air conditioners only control the living spaces. So garages get extremely hot in the summertime and extremely cold in the wintertime. And they fluctuate much faster than the temperatures in your house will fluctuate. This can cause your canned goods to expand, to lose their integrity and stuff like that. So you want to try to get it in a more temperature controlled place if you can help it. Like I said, not everybody can help it. And if you do decide to use a garage as your emergency pantry expansion space, make sure you try to find a way to counteract the impact of those temperature changes. So that's all I have right now for the enemy. So I'm going to head inside the Home Depot. I'm going to get a little bit of shelving. And now, somebody could probably watch this video and laugh like, what in the world is he doing? But hey, I just want to get something done. You know, this is what guys do. So I'm going to go in there. I've measured the width of the closet that we are using. And I have some ideas of how I want to do it. So I'm going to head on inside there and see if I can get it done. All right, fam. At least it's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. Shelving. So Home Depot have a lot of these pre-cut, preset shelves that you can use, and they're not that expensive. But see, the only problem is my closet is just about 35 inches wide, and these shelves are either 24 or 36 inches. So I can use the 24 inch and not go all the way across, or I can try to figure out a way to cut down the 36 inch and make it a little bit smaller so it can fit in my limited space. I'm gonna keep looking. Now I love Home Depot. I can walk around Home Depot for hours, honestly. But one thing is for dang sure. The price of lumber has gone up. I mean, the cheapest piece I can find that was suitable for my needs was about $11. And it's only an 8-foot piece. It's not like a 12 or 16-foot piece. It's not like it's weather treated, but it ain't like pressure treated or anything like that. Wood is difficult. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Y'all let me know. But the screws, the cheapest pack I could find that was 2-inch wood screws was $7.50 something cents. I'm gonna make a trip to Wal-Mart. I got to see if I can save $2. I drive 2 miles, save $2. Let's see, gas is $3.10 a gallon. I get 24 miles to the gallon. I'll save $1.20. Yep. Alright fam, so as you probably can see, I was able to find a 50-pack of screws for right at $5, like I hoped for. I know I didn't save much, but it made me feel better. And plus I like these screws better. They have the star tip that I like. They don't strip as easy, and plus as I got a 50-pack, I'm not gonna need that many for this particular project. So now I got some extra screws that's gonna be gonna help me out in some future projects. So I like that. But I'm gonna head to the house, try to get these shelves installed, and I'll see you there. Hey, how's it going, fam? So I made it home, and this is the coat closet I was telling you guys about. It's very underused. We got like 3 or 4 jackets in there and some toilet paper and some flushables. So let me go ahead and clean this out and get started. So I'm gonna start off by cutting a 30-inch strip out of the 1x2 that I purchased for like $3 at Home Depot, the only decently priced piece of wood I can find. I know this is the wrong tool. I know I'm going to hear about it in the comments, but sometimes the best tool is a tool you have. I don't have a sawhorse and I don't have a good wood cutting saw, so this is the tool that I have. So I'm gonna start off by finding a stud in the center of the wall. I was lucky because it's very close to the center of the wall. And I'm also gonna try to find a stud on the right hand side. I wasn't sure there would be any, but I've cheated and put a nail where it was. I found it earlier. So I'm gonna drill directly into the center of the piece of 30-inch strip that I put up there, and that way I can adjust it. I know it's uneven. I realize that it's uneven, but I'm going to bring my level in, and that way I can adjust it before I drill in the additional screws that I want to use. Get that drilled in there nice and tight. Now this is not going to be in the stud, but as long as one of the screws is in the stud, I think it's going to support the weight. I know it's not going to hold no more than about 25 pounds or so. And now it's nice, straight, and even. So for the side, I'm gonna cut about little 8-inch strips. I'm building all the way over on this. I gotta get me a sawhorse or a workbench or something. And there's my little hacksaw again. Oh well, it's the tool that I have. Hey, but I did a pretty decent job with it. I got the job done. Eventually. Get these drilled in the same kind of way, drill them into a single point. This cramped space is very uncomfortable, but hey, it's worth the effort. Use my little level here to make sure I get it. I had to use this. I placed a piece of wood between both the strips to try to make sure they were both about the same height. I repeat the same thing on the left-hand side. So now I'm going to test it out and see what I got. And it sits really nice. I'm glad I told Home Depot to cut it to 34 and a half, about a half inch less than the full width, and it fit perfectly. Ding. So before I get started, I'm going to put my little moisture absorber in there from Dollar Tree. Take the little black screen off, and you peel the aluminum foil off, but leaving the paper membrane on top. A lot of people don't use these correctly, so they think they don't work. Then you put the little net back on and place it somewhere near the top, because you know heat moisturizes. All right, fam. So this is what we got so far. I think this is going to work out really good for us. I decided to go ahead and put the water down on this floor because this floor is not concrete. And you know, we don't like storing water on concrete. We got some of our extra toilet paper here. I decided to put the dry pastas on this shelf right here and a lot of our non-food items up on the top. And I'm noticing I got plenty of space right here to where I can use for another shelf. So I think I'm going to be installing another shelf real soon. But I think it's going to work out really nice for us. I appreciate you guys sticking with me this whole time. Make sure you leave your tips and comments below. Please hit that like button. If you haven't already subscribed, please do that as well. I really appreciate it, fam. Y'all take it easy.